Well, with regards to peace, it's important to be clear on essentially the two types of peace, one being absolute and one being conditioned, or unconditioned and conditioned, or absolute peace and relative peace. Relative peace is circumstantial. That's when your body, for most people, it's when your body's healthy, you've got money, your bills are paid, you've got good relationships. The general type of thing that most people aim for is to have everything in order. And, when everything's in order, you'll have a sense of peace, happiness, contentment. But if one of those things gets affected negatively, that piece tends to be deleted. It's conditional. It's based upon conditions. As long as those conditions are met, you have peace of mind. But there's a much, much, much deeper peace than that, which is the sort of inner peace that spiritual seekers inquire into. So there's a fundamental trauma in the mind. We might as well just dive right into the depths, I suppose. Self-identity, it's called. Self-identity. It's a fundamental trauma in the mind, which means if there is a self-identity, then the peace is the deepest depths of peace is inaccessible where there is a self-identity, because the self-identity blocks that level of peace out. Which is why to find the deepest kind of peace, you have to transcend the self. That's the ultimate path. That's the ultimate objective of spiritual enlightenment, spiritual inquiry. But that's a very deep kind of peace. Most people aren't interested in that peace, although they might think they are. They spend their whole lives looking in the wrong place, most people, when it comes to that sort of peace. Core things are very basic. Yeah, okay, so it's all kind of circumstantial stuff, isn't it? The sort of stuff you can work on over time. The funny thing about identity, the nature of identity, is it's not solid. You don't actually have an identity. It's illusory. That means it's what you think of yourself to be, but that's always changing. People try to grasp at some sort of solid identity, and as the body changes and the personality changes, they lose their grip, because now their self-identity no longer matches the reality that's unfolding. People think of themselves as a father or a mother, and then the children leave home and they're screwed. Or, I'm a successful business owner, and then my business collapses, so what am I now? Etc., etc. So these various forms of identity collapse over the years because they're not real, they're not solid. I am this name, this person, this culture, apparently, but all of that's just conditioning, isn't it? My accent can change. I can change my name. My age changes constantly, second by second in reality. So how old am I exactly? So none of these things can be a real identity. You can play the game with them. Of course, you can conjure your own, but it's not real. It's just a manufactured character. It's a toy. It's a plaything. This week, I'm a streamer on Twitch. Next week, I'm a streamer on YouTube. Am I? I don't know. Whatever I actually am here doesn't know what it is, because what I am aware of is constantly changing and evolving and unfolding. So I cannot know what I am. So my identity, the truest kind of identity you can have, is that one. If you want to get technical with the language, it's an identity of no identity. That's where a lot of the world goes wrong in that sense today. You know, we identify with the body, the name, the gender, the culture, the psychology, the conditioning. But the conditioning changes. It has to. Everything's evolving, so you can't grasp at it. If you grasp at it, you suffer. So yeah, you just learn to evolve without an identity. If you want peace, that is, just let go. Let go and allow the body to move forward, allow the psychology to move forward in life. Looking forward. Well, that's like trying to build a house on top of a broken foundation, gnarly. No matter what house you build, even if you build a house that's very good at wobbling, it's a wobbly house. Nobody wants to come inside a wobbly house, you know. Can't sit still. That's a difficult place to be, dude, because spiritually speaking, if you have a wobbly foundation, you'll go your whole life, potentially, you can go your whole life trying to build a house the same way that everyone else does. But yours will never work because you've got a wobbly foundation, which means you've got a very deep problem. That's another way of saying that. And if you've got a very deep problem, you've got to look very deep to solve the problem. Well, if you've got a wobbly foundation, you can delete the foundation if you want to, which is what deep spiritual inquiry is about. You know, letting go eradicates karma. So if the foundation of your life is wobbly because of your karma, you can delete the karma and it removes the wobbly foundation. And in the process of that, the trauma of the mind is released and the misery is forgotten. And it sort of resets. And in that example, you would know yourself very deeply, which means you would know exactly what kind of house to build for yourself. What kind of house are you capable of building? In what sense? Observable reminders that remind you of what? That the wobbliness exists, yeah. And the funny thing is, Nolly, it exists for everyone. But some people, they cycle like this, yeah? Those people, it's easy to identify the wobble because it's happening so often. Other people, they wobble like this. For those people, they wobble rarely. They seem to have their shit together for a long time and then it comes crashing down. Other people, it's even bigger. They seem to have everything together for decades. And then there's a wobble, when they get back to the origin. Some people, they can go a whole lifetime and they only wobble right at the end when they're dying. Because they forgot that one. They forgot about that bit, They've got their whole life together. They've built up a great kingdom in their physical life, but they ignored that one element of death. And then when that starts to hit home, most of those people end up with dementia anyway, so they're in a different basket. The brain deletes itself before the body is even uninhabitable anymore. Anyway, I think I got a bit off track there, but coming to terms with your own wobbliness is vital if you want peace. I am a wobbly person. It is in my nature to wobble. My psychology is very wobbly, so I must know this about myself. And my options are grasp so tightly at this psychology and try to make it stop wobbling, or accept the wobble, work with the wobble, be a wobbly kind of person, work with my nature, accept it about myself. Some things can't be changed, some things can be changed. Or maybe I just build a house on a wobbly foundation and I'm prepared to let it crumble. I have fun building houses on wobbly foundations. It's very challenging. Most people couldn't even attempt it. They wouldn't have the patience. You know, imagine trying to build a house of cards on a seesaw, yeah? How patient would you have to be to do that? To even attempt it? Slightly crazy, for sure. But you can have a lot of fun doing that, but don't get too attached to it because you're a wobbly kind of person, you know? You just sort of let go, you move on. But yeah, you gotta know yourself, don't you? Some things can be cultivated, like focus and determination and consistency. But it's important to know what's at the core, because I can tell you this. Lots of people in my life have accused me of being what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but like undedicated, as if I don't commit myself, uncommitted, as if I don't commit myself to anything or I don't stick with anything very long. It's like, no, sorry, most of the things that you expect me to be committed to, I just couldn't care less about. Anything that's truly deeply important to me, I'll grab hold of it and I won't put it down. But the things that I do that with, the things that are most meaningful and valuable to me, most people find to be strange or, I don't know, whatever, they have their opinions. But I'm just not interested in most of the things that other people are, you know, so I wouldn't commit myself to 99% of what other people would. Find me something, or give me something truly deeply meaningful, and I'll hold it in my hand for the rest of my life, loving it, caring for it. But I've come to know what those things are about myself, and I've come to accept that I'm more in the 1%. 99% of people are running around trying to grab onto things that I find meaningless. And so I don't bother trying to do that. Why would I? I'm not interested in those things. But society will try to convince you that you should be sometimes, you know, that you're wrong. Anyway, probably going a bit off track there.